Hi everybody, welcome to this midweek Ghetto vlog. Yes, it's basically a Sunday vlog on a Wednesday. And the reason being is, if you saw last week's vlog, you'll know that I'm deep into the 3.0, my video game room changes. And I basically don't want to wait any longer to crack on with those changes, right? Normally what would happen is I'd film and edit my Wednesday video, and then we'd get back to the 3.0 work that would be a large part of the Sunday vlog. I can't keep doing that. I've got to get my room sorted out as a matter of priority. So the Wednesday is going to be getting those changes implemented. Now, I am, of course, on the road. Some of you will know where I'm headed if you watched last week's vlog. I'm going to IKEA. First things first, I'm hoping to make it for breakfast. But aside from that, I am on the way there to spend an inordinate amount of money on a few shelves. IKEA know what they're doing, right? They sell you the Billies and the Williams for a relatively decent price, at least they used to be, but then they charge you £10 per shelf. And when you've got as many shelves and as many shelving ideas as I've got, yeah, that soon adds up, believe me. I've got thousands of pounds worth of shelves in my room, and somehow it still isn't enough. Basically, I don't want to be inhibited by how many shelves I've got. I want to make it perfect. So yeah, we're heading to IKEA now. I'm going to grab a few more Billy shelves, and then we're going to get back and get some games put on those shelves. If that sounds like a bit of you, stick around. Let's do it. And we are back in the 3.0 with what I'm hoping is enough shelves to see us through this stage of the project. Now, quickly, just having an overview of where we're at so far with these newly instated Williams. Now, the first thing we need to do is get this 360 section here taken out so that I can add the shelves and extend the Kid Robot and Pulp Fiction minifigures right the way across there. And with all the shelving in place, it's now the fun bit of getting the rest of the Street Fighter minifigures put onto those shelves. I've also got my Titan Pulp Fiction minifigures. They're going to go along the back wall on that shelf as well. So yeah, man, let's do it. Well, with the damage caused by my backside fixed, I'm really happy with having these guys on the shelf. They've been on that back wall ever since I first built this room. So yeah, there was a bit of trepidation about moving them, but I think it's worked out brilliantly. But it does bode the question, what is next? So as I say, we're going to be putting Xbox 360 on here once I've established which games I'm keeping and which I'm getting rid of. This section here is going to be PlayStation 4, so we're going to look at starting to implement some of my ENIACs, only on PlayStation sleeves, Lego sleeves, into this section, hopefully on today's video. But it's where I go from here, which is somewhat perplexing, because I've got the plug socket here, so I need to be able to maintain easy access to that. Also, if you've been watching the vlogs, you'll know I've got surround sound speakers, plug sockets all the way across the bottom, so I'm going to add a small shelf to there. So we haven't got this very bottom to play with. That's going to be used for electronics and stuff. So what I think I'm going to do now is move all this 360 stuff, get a shelf put on top of that small electronic area at the bottom, and then try and figure out what I'm going to do with this bit here. I do have a plan, I think, for this section here. Right, so first things first, I want to move that lot. Then we'll probably get rid of that lot. And then we'll probably get rid of those two. Then I think we'll add a shelf there, there, and I suppose we might as well add one there. Lovely. Alright, so I'm at a point now where I'm really happy with how the shelves are progressing. We've got quite a lot of games on here, but I want to add a few more things from my collection. I don't want it to just be games. I want to integrate toys, figures, things that catch the eye, things to break up the monotony of game spines on here. And I think that's what this gap was perfect for. So as you can see, I've finally found what I think is probably a good forever home for these absolute beauties. I love these figures. I think they look so cool. I haven't fully posed them yet, but as you can see, if I stand back here, they just fill that gap absolutely perfectly, and it's a nice extension from my Street Fighter mini collection. I think that looks brilliant. So yeah, really happy with that. So it's time to get on to the next section of games. As I keep saying, there's a lot of stuff in here that still needs finding a home for, and we've got to start getting some stuff off the floor. I've been thinking about integrating PlayStation 1. The only reason I'm hesitant to do so is because PlayStation 1 is a small shelf, just like the Game Boy shelf, and I don't want the perfection of these shelves to be at detriment of other shelves in the room. Because, as I say, with them being a smaller shelf, sometimes you need to fill those gaps with smaller games, and we're probably going to have a gap in this shelf here. So I'm a bit hesitant to do it. However, speaking of PlayStation 1, I have had this arrive. Now, this is probably the longest running saga with any one game I've had out of my entire collection. This has been a journey of ups and downs, some of which you guys will be aware of. But yeah, let's take a look at this. And hopefully this can be the day where I can proudly add this game to the shelves here in the 3.0. Right, so I'm hoping there's a note in here. There is indeed. Right, let's have a look. Hi Callum, I'm a really big fan of the channel and I've been watching for a few years now. I'm so glad this is going to a good home and I'm going to save some of what's in here because it's going to give it away. I actually picked this up at a boot sale well over 20 years ago as part of a bundle of PlayStation 1 games and held onto it in the hope of one day finding a loose disc. A couple of weeks later, I found a complete double case version at the same boot sale for 50 pence, and it's still proudly sitting in my collection to this day. Right, so this has come from my friend Andy, and the fact that Andy found two of these, the two different variants, for 50 pence each. Firstly, that's incredible. Secondly, it just shows you the sort of things that used to be out there. If you've been in this hobby and hunting games long enough, everyone's got them stories of things that they used to be able to find at car boots for 50p, because this is just incredible. But anyway, that game is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yes, this is Konami's 1997 masterpiece. This is a game which, as I say, I've spoken a few times about now in terms of my up and down relationship with it. It's one I always wanted for the collection. It was in a CEX many years ago, not too far from me in the Nottinghamshire area. I travelled to go and get it. And when I got there, I wasn't overly happy with the disc. And when they cleaned the disc, I still wasn't happy with the disc. So ultimately I left it behind, and that was when this game was at £160. I can't remember what this game's at now, but it's ridiculous. Online it sells for like £400, £500, £600, depending on which variation you've got and how complete the game is, etc. But either way, it's became such a large amount of money that I never anticipated I would actually have it in my collection, because whilst I'm a fan of PlayStation 1 and I've been actively collecting PS1 for the past year, 18 months or so, I'm not a PS1 collector to the point of I am with Super Nintendo, for example. I wouldn't go out and spend that kind of money on a game, especially a game that I already own on my Xbox 360 kiosk. I've actually played through the game, loved it, it's a fantastic game. So anyway, fast forward a few years, if you watched my recent video where I questioned or put it to you guys whether you think I got scammed or not, I found an unbelievable deal, too good to be true, on Facebook Marketplace, went to pick it up, and unfortunately it turned out to be real disc and a fake inlay, right? So a fake box with a real disc. So very long story short, I ended up getting a majority refund, paying for it partially, keeping the disc. And I thought, to be honest, I was just going to be sitting on that disc for years to come in some vain hope that one day I will find the box at a decent price. And here is that box. So as I say, this is box only. It is completely empty inside. So we've got no instructions, no disc, but crucially, it's legit, right? It is real. You can see it's nicely cut. There's none of that strange yellowing, and just by touching it, you can tell, right? That's how I found out the last one was fake, by sort of like getting it out of the box. The back's great. That piece there is all nice and clear. Hopefully I'll be able to put some side-by-side comparisons on screen now so you can take a look at the fake version next to this one. Now, the fake version is of the more sought-after variant, I think, the dual disc version that comes with the soundtrack and an art book, I believe. However, Andy was actually saying to me that in his experience, this one's actually the rarer one. This is actually the harder one to come across. There are more versions of the double disc one out there. I don't really mind. I'm just happy to have it in my collection either way, to be honest. And yeah, to now not have a complete one, the hunt's still on for a manual, but to have a legitimate case with a legitimate spine art that I can happily put onto my shelves and as part of the PS1 collection is amazing. So yeah, I just want to give a massive, massive shout out to Andy. Such a great guy. And what a story, right? Not from my point of view, from his point of view, to find two of these at a car boot sale in 2 weeks for 50 pence each. That is incredible. And obviously it's very kind of him to pass it on. He said to me he was looking for it in storage. It took him a few weeks to find it because we're talking years and years ago. I think he's worried that he'd misplaced this somewhere, but he found it and he sent it my way, and obviously I'm very appreciative of it. So yeah, I'm now finally the owner of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And hopefully I can track down a manual. That seems a lot more attainable than trying to track down the case and everything else. So yeah, I'll be happy to pay up for the manual should one become available, or if anyone knows of one for sale, and get this complete. But yeah, absolutely delighted with that. And hopefully that's it now. We can draw a line under the Castlevania Symphony of the Night saga. Yeah, I suppose if anything, when you go through these ups and downs to get a game, it makes it even better when you finally get it, right? And yeah, could not be happier with that. So with that been done, I of course turn my attentions back to the video game shelves, and right, what's next? Right, so I've been and collected all of the PlayStation 4 sleeve subsets that I want to get displayed. As a matter of priority, it's very much the ENIAC sleeves. Now, I'm going to have to go and get some random Blu-rays and whatnot from out the house because these are the only ones I've actually got the real games in now. But in terms of just displaying them, we're going to fill these with anything for now until we slowly start getting each game that we need to complete those sleeves. And like I say, I don't want to put these forward-facing here or here because the Game Boy's forward-facing, and I think it definitely needs breaking up, right? So we've got spines, then we need spines, forward-facing spines, and then we potentially do forward-facing down here. So I think what I'm going to do is add a shelf here, and as a matter of priority, try and get the ENIACs displayed over the space of these two shelves. Alright, so we are ready to get the ENIACs on, and if you're wondering why there's a copy of Fight Night Round 3 sat here, it's because I tried to put these in previously and it was almost too tight, right? So it was kind of encroaching on the sleeve cover itself, and obviously I don't want to damage it. So I'm sort of using other PS3 games just to push the shelf up above it like by a millimetre or so, just to give me that slight clearance so I don't have to worry about damaging the cardboard of the ENIAC sleeve. So now I'm in a position where I can start adding this fantastic artwork. Now this has been a long time coming. I've been thinking about doing this and where they were going to go ever since I first learned about these sleeves. And obviously I'm in a very advantageous position that I have thus far the full set that we know of, the only full set in existence because of, where is it now? Stellar Blade, which seemingly doesn't exist anywhere else. So yeah, I definitely don't want to damage these. I'm going to take my time and display them all how they deserve to be displayed. And then I'll come back and show you guys, yeah, what they look like. Well, that was worth the wait. How incredible do these look? A lot of you have been asking me over the last few months, like, when am I going to display the ENIAC sleeves? And they are so good. So first of all, disregard the previous clip that you saw, because how many of you were shouting at the TV that I'm an idiot? I was putting them here, which, as I said, I didn't want to do it directly underneath or above the forward-facing Game Boy games. We're going to break that up with spines. But God, it looks so good. And what I was able to do that I wasn't able to do with Game Boy is invert one side, right? So they work their way into the middle as opposed to all facing the same way. These ones go from that side and these ones go from that side. Now, these will, like everything on this shelf, be curated further. Apart from Ghost of Tsushima, which is probably my favourite one, none of these have been individually picked to go there. I just randomly put them on the shelves. So that's something which will all be further curated once the full layout is set in stone. But I could not be happier. I know it's slow progress. I know it's taken me weeks to get to the point we're at, but my God, it looks good. And as I say, the remaining ones are down here. I think I'll flip them round as well. Similar issue that I had with the Game Boy games here. I don't like it when the spines aren't shown this way, but again, we can invert them the other way. And it's just something that you don't have the pleasure of doing with Game Boy because you end up losing the Game Boy text. So yeah, take advantage of the fact that I can do it with these ENIAC sleeves. And woo, man, they look so good. I'm so happy with how all this is coming together. A couple of weeks back, you might have saw I had a wobble. I was sort of questioning the money, the work, the time, the effort. And I'd had enough of my room just being the mess, which still largely is, to be honest. But it's 100% worth it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the shelves thus far. I always pursue perfection. And thus far, I think we're pretty darn close to that. I think what I am going to have to do is implement PlayStation 1, because I've left myself these shelves, which aren't going to house a lot. And PlayStation 1 would go nicely in here. I wrap it around the other side. I've got like that nice Tekken long box that could sit here or sit along the side somewhere. It could potentially even sit there, because this is the only bottom piece of these shelves which isn't really being utilised, because there's no plugs actually coming from behind there. So if I could fit the Tekken long box in there and then continue PlayStation like that, that'll be really good. I haven't got around to doing only on PlayStation sleeves and Lego sleeves yet. They're going to end up on this side. Still continuing that PS4 sleeve theme around there. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving the progress that we've been able to make. But that is going to do it for this episode, because I am getting up very early in the morning. I'm leaving the country. We are going on a road trip. Myself and some good friends are going game hunting, and that is what's going to form this Sunday's vlog, right? So keep it locked to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. But hope you guys have enjoyed this slight change in the schedule, this mid-week vlog. I'm really happy with what we've managed to achieve, and hopefully once I get back from this international road trip, I'll also be able to get a bit more work done in the 3.0. So yeah, if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to support myself, the channel further, you want to get involved with a fantastic community over on the Discord, there will be a link to join the Ghetto gang below. Stay tuned for post-credit gameplay. As always, play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you Sunday. Take care. Whose is that? It's mine. Yours?
Mine.
Yours. I think it's Daddy's. Who's this? Who's that? Mario. And who's that? Dino. Close enough. Is that Daddy's?
Mine.
Yours. Are you sure? I think it's Daddy's. Oh, looks like it's yours now. All right, post-credit gameplay. You already know, God of War 3. We're on the challenges of Olympus still. We've got 3 to do. I'm going to try bare hands. As you can see, before the time runs out, you've got to kill all enemies using your bare hands. Sounds simple until you realise there's no punch and kick. All you can do is grab these smaller enemies, because you can't even grab these bigger guys. So you have to basically grab the smaller enemies and charge them into the bigger guys. Oh, no, that's not good. That is not good. That is... Yeah, so you have to basically... Oh, he nearly knocked him off. I nearly knocked him off. Yeah, so you have to try and hit the bigger guys using the smaller guys. Which is not as easy as it sounds, let me tell you. And it's quite unforgiving. And what you don't want to do is initiate that quick time sequence, because that actually takes a lot longer than it would take to just run people into him, as you've just seen. So you want to just kill them once they're in that position. From a lot of the forums I was looking at online before I started attempting this, people hate this trial. Some people really struggled with this. So yeah, that's actually not a bad attempt. We only had 2 of the big guys left. Well, I suppose 2 or 3 is pretty poor. I was trying to put a positive spin on it. Right, it was the first attempt, so let's hope things can only get better, right? Right, let's go again. I feel like you've got to get a good start. You've got to try and take one of these big guys out early. Right, that's a good solid 2 hits. No, don't want to be doing that. Left, no. Right, it's by far our best attempt, but we've still got some work to do, haven't we? No, we don't want to be smashing heads against walls. That's not the way to do it. That's it, come on. Yes, that's it, that's it. That's nice. Oh, I got loads of hits on him with that one. This could be the one. This could be the one. Where are they all? Yes, yes, yes. Take him out. No, that took too long. I should never have gone into that animation. I'm never going to get these killed. Right, quickly. Come on, rip him in half. There's only one to go. No! 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 Oh my god! Oh, no way. Did you see that? No. No, that could not have been closer. We're talking half a second. That is unbelievable. And the thing is, you need luck, right? You need a bit of luck on your side. And we had a lot of luck on that attempt. Oh my god. That was ridiculously close. Yes, yes, yes. Come on. Nice. That's really nice. Come on. Yes, right. I think we've got time. Come on, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. I pressed the wrong button. No. 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 That was it. That was it. No. Oh, I could have done that. That's twice we've been there and messed it up at the end. Ah. Ah, it's so infuriating. Where are they all? Ah, come on. No, you don't want to be doing that. Stop. Go on, get him off. Yes, yes, the big lad's gone. Big lad's gone. Right, come on. The big lad gone. If we can just... Right, they're both nearly gone. Right, he's dead. Come on, we've got to get this one out. Where are they all? Not him. No, that's taking too long. Oh, right, come on. We've got to be quick. We've got to be quick. Grab him. Rip him apart. Rip him apart. No, it's done it again! It's done it again! No! I honestly cannot believe this. You can't write it. Are you kidding me? Twice! We've been like 0.1 of a second. That is unbelievable. That is, the game's out to get me, honestly. That is ridiculous at this point. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't. You finally get all the luck in the world, right? The big lad chucked himself off the edge. You finally think that's it, only to once again lose out by milliseconds. Well, F this challenge, me, I'm telling you. Big lad's gone. Oh, we've got no time! Oh, I thought it was going well. How are none of those guys... Oh, there was one left! One left! Bloody idiot. Waste of my time. Just leave me alone. Just honestly, I've had enough. Right, I'll try one more and then I'm just going to edit Rage Quit out. Yes, he's gone. He's gone. Right, that's one gone. There's other big lad gone as well. No way. If he's gone, this could be it. I didn't see him go. Come on. He's nearly gone. Come on. Yes, yes, yes. Who's left? Who's left? This is it. Surely. Surely. Quick, quick, quick. Who's left? Who's left? This guy. Quick, 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 quick. Yes! Yes! I almost missed him! I almost missed him! 1 second! That is one hell of a challenge. Oh my gosh. I was honestly about to give up. I swear to God, that could have been my last effort. Wow. Wow. I'm supposed to be going to bed soon. I don't think I can. I'm too awake now after that. I feel enthused. Wow. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. If you've watched to this point in the vlog, let me know below. Ghetto hands. Ghetto hands.